see one scheduled for today.
There's one for tonight and for on Wednesday.
Next
There
week,
should be
there
two.
was
It says
second
it's
one for today.
It's recording.
You can see the slideshow.
Okay, please stand by.
Now we're live. You need to change the camera about, in the 12th date, okay. So we're gonna go back to date.
Ready? Thanks.
Good.
So good evening. What I'll do for the budget presentation is just give kind of an overview of the printed material that was in the agenda packet for tonight. Just want to thank staff and the board for any assistance provided during the budget process. Obviously, this year's big change was myself being in the administrator position and our new finance director, Leah Symington. But we worked within the budget process that was already underway when we started. We have a lot of good seasoned department administrators here that know what they're doing with putting together their budgets and keeping things reasonable and responsible. Our main objectives are continue to be delivering exceptional services to the community and collaborating with our departments to deliver those services. What you've been presented with is a balanced budget. So meaning if the board looks at any changes when we get to that part, we have to adjust additional expenses, need additional revenues or cuts in other areas to maintain that balance. So the proposed budget has a tax rate of $2.12, which is a reduction from $2.28 in the 25 budget. This is a 6.84% decrease. The primary reason for that decrease is the increased valuation of Chippewa County. So our county's equalized value increased by 10.39%, which is $990 million and some change, so just under $1 billion in increased valuation. So even though the overall levy is going up, the amount we're taxing the citizens, the tax rate's going to go down because it's being spread over a larger tax base throughout the county. The proposed tax levy for the 26 budget is $22,330,263, which is an increase from $21,713,416. So that's an increase of $616,847, or 2.84%. So that's the amount that's being levied onto the taxpayers of the county. So some of the things that we took into consideration are the highlights when we put together the budget. This has been an ongoing emphasis over the last number of years is the developments in out-of-home placements. So there was an increasing cost of those in 22 and 23. So additional money has been added into the budget. Some of that has leveled off in the adult out-of-home placements, but what we've seen this last 12 to 18 months, I'd say, is an increase in youth out-of-home placements. So our staff does a good job of managing both sides of that, looking for least restrictive options. The difference I would say in youth out-of-home is there's fewer options. Some of those options are further away, which makes them more costly. That's going to continue to be somewhat a wild card in our budget, but our staff is doing a good job of managing that. Costs were up earlier this year, but they've leveled off. So I think there's optimism that we'll end the year neutral in the 25 budget. HHS has made adjustments in the 26 budget to account for where we're seeing those increased costs. Number two of the highlights was the ongoing efforts to address the impact of the hospital closures and primarily affecting us as the loss of the county morgue. So you had accounted for that in the 25, or in this year's, the 25 budget. There's nothing specific to it in the 26 budget, but we're still monitoring that. As of October, we are now using the morgue that we had before at what was St. Joe's Hospital, now being operated by the Chippewa Valley Health Cooperative. We do have an agreement with them to use the morgue space there, so the money budgeted and the capital projects for this year is untouched. We're not pulling that out of the plan at this point because we want to give this relationship some time to see how that's going to work. EMS services in Chippewa County is another area that we're putting some emphasis on. Again, there's nothing in the budget specifically for 26 to address this, but the budget we're presenting gives us flexibility moving ahead. If the county wants to take a role in EMS, we have the ability to do that. You'll be seeing a resolution next month to form the ad hoc committee to really focus in on countywide EMS and bringing the stakeholders together to take a look at the issues we're having and come up with potential solutions. Another point of emphasis is our self-insurance plan, self-funded health insurance plan for employees. We're in year 5 of that, covered prior months some of the difficulties we're experiencing as a lot of employers are, increase in health costs for employers. So this budget does address that. Going into next year, we are implementing an employee premium, which puts some of the costs on the employees. We are also increasing our portion of the premium in this budget to account for those increased costs. This budget does also accommodate market adjustments for employee wages. Even though we're assessing some of the health insurance costs on the employees, it's still important for us to maintain competitiveness, to maintain good employees, and we want to keep our wages at a competitive level. So we did adjust the wages to account for that. So you previously have approved a 2% across-the-board increase for January 1 and a 1.5% on July 1. And then also an increase in the salary schedule moving ahead. Budget also includes the union contract, the collective bargaining agreement that was approved earlier in 2025 that went into effect July 1st, which included a 9% increase this year, and then 4% increase on January 1st is built into this budget. State and federal funding, I don't have a lot of good explanation on that, just that obviously there are moving pieces that we're working with, particularly, with the big beautiful bill at the federal level. The state budget was passed earlier this year. We're waiting to see the effects of that. We know that there's going to be some impacts, especially on our clients or our customers that access our county services in the human service area. Those are not fully evident. Also, we have changes at the federal level and how things are being funded or not funded. The next step will be to see if the state fills in any of those gaps, and then what impacts that have on us. Even if it's not direct funding to us, we know some of the changes to the programs are going to require additional staff time within our human service area to do employment verifications or other qualifications for some of these programs. So we're maintaining our flexibility to hopefully address any of those impacts that are felt at the county government level. Additional expenditures, every year there's a couple things that are probably not our normal course of business that we accommodate or plan for within the budget. Prior to this, you've had approved funds for the pursuit of a new industrial park. Those monies are in the budget. And then also we anticipate some additional costs within our court system next year for a larger jury trial than we normally would experience. So we've budgeted additional funds in the clerk of court budget to accommodate that one-time trial expense. Item number 8 in the presentation is the new positions and eliminated positions. Primarily, we're focused in on new positions that you've already approved. We really avoided any levy-funded positions. We only put forward positions that were either funded by state or federal funds or supported by revenues like fees. So we have the administrative assistant position, which is being funded through additional state and federal dollars. Another additional building inspector, which is funded through fees for those inspections. CLTS worker is funded by our reimbursements from the Medicaid program. The elder benefit specialist was going to be funded through an increase in the base grant from the state for the ADRC. I'll just highlight that that's been approved, but as we said when we had it approved, if those funds do not materialize, we do not create the position. Based on the projections we've gotten about what the base grant's going to be next year, there's not going to be adequate funds for that position, therefore we will not fill it. And then the legal secretary position with money already in the budget for contracted services that we instead put forward a part-time position that will be an employee rather than contracted, but no additional levy dollars within that budget. You can see the proposed levy by department compared from 25 to 26, and the increase or decrease. A lot of that, I would say, we're not proposing any new programs or services or significant changes in county operations. Most of those increases are a result of increased compensation for the employees for the market adjustments and health insurance. So that you can see the department listing and the levy adjustments. Down below, it's the revenue side. So we are allocating additional sales tax dollars as a property tax credit, as well as we see a small increase in shared revenue now every year based on the new shared revenue and supplemental shared revenue formula. And then that makes up our operational levy, and then we have items that are excluded from levy limits, including our support from libraries, county bridge aid. So I guess I'll just summarize the verbiage in the letter. That the budget we've presented is consistent with the strategic plan for the county. It's sustainable into next year and into the following year. And it allows us to address our current operational needs as identified by the board. You can see the revenue sources of where our funds come from, whether it's public charges, property tax levy, other taxes, intergovernmental grants and aids. A lot of that intergovernmental is supporting our Health and Human Services program, or funds that were reimbursed, and how those revenues are allocated. So our total revenues are projected to be just under 127 million for next year. Also included in the budget proposal is just a couple outlines of use of funds. So you have the opioid dollars, which are separate. We have a process internal to the county on how those funds are applied for and approved. We only use funds we have on hand. I mean, we're projected to get monies over the next, I think it's 18 years, but we get them in, we let them sit there for a year before we allocate them. We're only using funds that we know we have. Similarly, sales tax, bring that in this year. It won't be budgeted until 2027. So it's a year lag. So again, we're only using monies we have. You can see under the sales tax use that for the 26 budget, we're using $24 of 8.779 million. There's funds on hand, or a fund balance of 1.6 in interest. So we're allocating just under 10.5 million of sales tax dollars. 3.8 of that goes to a property tax credits that offsets the county operational budget, monies that otherwise would have to be levied. 2.1 is allocated to the debt service, and then 132,890 pays our share of the airport costs. And those are all things earlier in the year we've approved by resolution through the board. The remainder is put into the KIP plan, so you can see the project list that has been previously approved by the board, totaling 4.375 million for that total use of 10,448,562. Then the pie chart at the bottom is just another visual that shows how the sales tax is being distributed. The next page is a comparison just for, again, I think presentation purposes to give you a feel for any changes in the budget, comparing how the 21 budget levy dollars were distributed versus where we're projecting them for next year. In large part, it's unchanged, the distribution over the last 5 years. We're still 35% for public safety. Transportation is within a couple percentage points, so no significant shifts in where the levy dollars are going. Section E is, I guess, we're by the numbers, a comparison over the last 5-6 years on changes in the county budget. So you can see the increases in equalized value over the last 6 years. I think just a more competitive, more vibrant real estate market. Demand for property is up. Supply is a little less, so we're seeing increases there. And in appraisals, which means there's changes in assessments. So you can see, I think, 10.39% from in the last year. I believe that puts us at about the 10th highest increase in the state. And Chippewa County's been running in the top 10 to 15 the last 4 years. So it's, a good sign for the economics of the area, that there is a demand for property and an increase in valuation. Like I said earlier, that means that we're spreading out the levy over a larger tax base, which is why the tax rate goes down. You can see that in section 2, it shows the tax rate. There's been decreases every year. And again, that's partly because of levy limits. We can only levy so much, so we're constrained there. But it's continually being assessed over a widening and larger tax base, which is going to bring the rate down. So it's always choose your words carefully. Nobody should construe increase in the tax rate as a decrease in the tax rate does not mean a decrease in your taxes. We're not saying that, we're just saying the tax rate's going down. Obviously, property values are going up, so you're paying on your $100,000 house might be worth $150,000 now times the tax rate. A net new construction is what we're able to increase the levy by on an annual basis, so the state tells us that. So we had a $367,000 increase in net new construction. That translates to, I think it was a 1.9% increase. We had a 1.9% increase in net new construction, which meant a $367,000 increase in levy dollars that we could handle, that we could assess. The decrease there, 15.96, just shows the decrease from the prior year, what the increase was the prior year. The property tax levy, again, is going up 2.84%. I think the county's been overall doing a good job keeping it at or below 3% annual. The allowable and proposed tax levy dollars, so we're not taxing the maximum that we could under the levy limits. We are leaving a little bit there. So we could go up $2.14, and we're doing $2.12. And you can see historically that's what the county's done. Tax rate's going down, and we're not maximizing the amount we could tax under the limit formula. And then the total budget, $126,837,443 for all county services. I think the item F is one of the important areas to look at. This is, I guess, indicates our overall economic health, and this is what really helps us establish a good bond rating. And when we do need to issue debt service, we can issue at the most affordable rates. This summarizes our audited general fund balances. Excuse me. So by policy, we want to be between 30 and 40%. To maintain the best rates, we want to be above 35%. At the end of 24, we had a total general fund balance, audited general fund balance of $23,881,931, which is 37.8% of our annual budget. So historically, we're a healthy county, and we're trying to maintain that. And we don't anticipate any reductions in our general fund balance moving ahead based on what we think we are for this year and what we've budgeted for 26. So the overall budget summary is under item G. Full budget, again, of $126,837,443. The levy is $22,063,000. The tax rate's 212. Like I just mentioned, we want to keep the fund balance between 30 and 40%. Right now, we have a bond rating of AA1, which really for a county of our size and the tax base we have is about as good as we can do. And then you can see the comparison to the tax rate relative to our neighbors or similar size is low. Then you can see the impact on the taxpayer based on the value of their residence and how that $2.12 translates into the amount of taxes they pay annually. Number H, just kind of, again, just shows the distribution of expenses for the budget. Operational costs versus wages and health insurance. I would say that that is a little, not misleading, but skewed because we operate the CCS consortium. So there's 25 million of that 78 million that is almost just strictly flow through of federal money coming in and going out to the vendors that provide those services. So for our actual operating costs, it's probably a split of compensation versus operational costs. Then you see another perspective of the budget by function, what goes into general government, human services, public safety, conservation, transportation, and EW extension. And I will conclude the presentation there.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. There's just for the boards, it's a public hearing, so
Yes.
there'll be questions later.
When we have the business item agenda, when we approve the budget, that's when we ask questions. Fourth, this is the public hearing right now. And the next thing would be any comments from the public, which I don't believe we have any public here.
Nope.
So I will close the public hearing on the budget. We can move on to reports. Like the department reports. A, we have an agenda management software and website update, which this will be exciting for you. But it probably needed. Jackie's excited to.
I am so excited. So on your desk, there were 2 documents on there. One was the how to access meetings and agendas. The other one is how to sign up to receive county board and committee meeting agenda notifications. We're going to go through a couple of those things here. So if you look at the screen in the middle there, or you can look at your handout as well. The first thing we're going to look at is this is the new county website, which I think looks really, really nice. But the easiest way for you to get access to the meetings and agendas is on this homepage. If you click on the green tab here that says Meetings and Agendas, it's going to take you to the public portal of the agendas and minutes. There's a couple different ways you can access or search for meetings or agendas. You can use the calendar over here, and you can see that if a date is bold, there is a meeting on that date. Today's date is always in the blue circle. So if you were to click on the blue circle there, obviously it would take us to here, but we click on our agenda for our meeting date next week. As a reminder, our meeting is next Wednesday, not Tuesday, it's Wednesday. You can see the agenda right here. The other way is you can also search. If you are looking for one of your committees, you can click there and it will bring up just your.
Well, there's no.
Oh. When you're looking at your iPad, do you see the calendar?
No, I think it's on mobile, a mobile setting. You're on iPad.
So never mind, ignore the calendar part. And I said, I was gonna look at an iPad.
That's right.
I don't have an iPad. So the best way then is you can scroll through all the meetings here, or you can pick the category of your meeting, or you could type in the search there. But to access today's meeting, you see it's here. If you want to, you could download files right here with this blue drop-down arrow. But if you just click on the meeting, does your screen look like this? Do you see all of those items? Okay.
Except for when you download, where does it go?
There should be a downloads link that you can see in your browser. I know I looked at that. Sure.
You have the upper right.
Circle.
Upper right-hand corner, there's a circle with a down arrow.
Like mine is right here, but I don't know what it looks like on the iPad.
It's got a little circle
Oh, the circle with an arrow, okay.
with an arrow.
So on the left-hand side, then you'll see this menu for the agenda and the agenda packet. If you click on meeting overview, which is this top one here, it's going to give you an agenda, and it's also interactive, so you can click on any of the items. Like Andy just went through budget there, you can see the statement of explanation there. If you're looking for the specific files, if you click on meeting files, it takes you then more to the agenda packet. And again, anything with a blue arrow has a document attached to it. And then if for some reason you want to share the meeting, which I don't think I left that on there, you could click on share meeting. You'll have to be logged in, but then you could send a link to somebody else if you knew somebody else was interested in this meeting or a topic on this meeting. It's different, obviously. It looks different than our last system. And the wording is a little different, but once you get using the system, you're living in the system like Tracy and I have been for the last, I don't know how many months. You'll get it. What will be interesting is some of the motions and votes will show up in here before the minutes are published. As we start entering the minutes, like tomorrow if I start entering the votes, they're gonna pop up online before I publish the minutes, because in some states the vote results have to be published or available within 24 hours. So it's a different setting. So you might go out there and think the minutes are done because you're seeing some things, but just check to make sure it's the whole packet. Is there any questions on that part? I'm going to go back. So on the main screen here with the meetings, this is going to be your other handout. And I know some of you already signed up. Originally, we were just going to have you sign up for notifications for meetings that you wanted to be aware of that you weren't on those committees. But due to the way the board portal is working, not set up right, or just us not wanting to use it the way it's set up, we're going to have you sign in, and you're going to have to sign up for notifications for all the committees you're on as well. So then you will get an email notification when the agenda is posted. So I'll walk through those directions, and if you want to do it while you're on your iPad, you can, but you will need to know your email address and password. So you click on the sign in, and then you type in your email address. Because it's different for staff, I don't have to put in my password, but you guys would have to, is up here where it says subscriptions. If you click on that button, it's gonna pull up all of the meetings. Because I need to keep track of all of the agendas and minutes for all the committees, you can see that I have selected notifications for all of the meetings. So you can go on, you can select all of them if you want to, or obviously select county board and then whatever committees you are on, or if there's a committee that you want to follow, you can click that and you can just see it. It's just a toggle. And it will tell you once you click on it, here it says you have unsubscribed. But if you click on it, it will say you have subscribed. Does that make sense? Jim?
Oh, no.
Perfect.
If anyone has questions, you have problems with it, call us, stop in. We know that it's not going to be smooth sailing right from the get-go, right? There's going to be little hiccups. Carrie discovered something here today that we weren't aware of because she was clicking on things, and so yeah. If you want to sign in, I know some of you already did. I think Andy was helping some of you. Does everyone signed in already and took care of it? Yes, they're good. Because if you don't, you're not gonna get notification that you have a meeting and you're gonna miss your meeting. And then I have to write that down that you missed your meeting and tell Chuck. Oh, yep. So if you go back out to the website, so we did tell you you could get to the meetings and agendas through this tab. There's also, it's integrated with our calendar on the website as well. And so you can click on these dates. I have this set, is that automatically set on that one? The defaults to the county board meetings. But if you click on events, it would show everything. If you click on a date, it will take you,
So events is not committee and county board meeting.
right?
This is everything other than committee and county.
So if you have it selected to the county board and committees, you can see then, here are all the meetings in November. But then you can click on the more details. And you can see the time. And up here, you can download the agenda as well. What was that, Andy? Oh, yep. So that's another way to access it. I like the other way better, but this is just another way if that works better for you looking at that front calendar.
And again, our front calendar is different on the iPads than it is.
Calendar doesn't exist on there.
At all? On the homepage?
The home
does?
page does.
On the homepage, okay.
I was like, oh no.
It doesn't have an agenda.
Oh, yeah. But on the homepage
Gotcha.
of the website, it, because it's right,
It's easier just to go
Here.
to the meetings and agendas.
yep,
Green button.
right here. Yep. Any questions?
Jackie?
Yeah.
So on some of these, I don't know, I guess I should call them subcommittees, like on the highway committee, we have the DOT meeting, annual, quarterly, whatever, and the quarterly towns meetings. Will they be on there, or it'll still be?
No, the only time something may appear on here is if an invitation comes in for all of the board and we're worried about possibly having a quorum at that meeting, then we will post it and that would show up on here. There's not going to be generally like an agenda. It'll just say the date and time of the meeting, where it's at, and that we're not taking any business action.
Yeah, I didn't think about the quorum thing, yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? That's fine. You step in.
Any more questions for Jackie? That we have it all mastered now, right?
I did send a bunch of emails to you this last week, but in one of them was all the meetings for November and December, because a lot of the meeting dates, because of the holidays, get moved. So just kind of be aware of what dates those are. And since we have the kind of the funny next week with meeting on Wednesday instead of Tuesday.
Thank you. So we'll move on to the 2025 report, highway operations. Chris?
Good evening, everyone. For those of you that are new on the board, state statute requires once a year that the highway commissioner gives this report to the board at its annual meeting. So basically, it's a lot of basic stuff. This goes a little more in depth. I want to credit my predecessor, Brian Kelly. He basically really kind of dressed this up and did a nice job with it. So I'm following in his footsteps. If you have any questions as we go, feel free to ask. If you want to ask me some questions another time, that's fine. It's basically kind of a Cliff Notes version of the books you guys have. So I'm not going to go through everything page for page. We'll kind of just gloss over it. So this goes over the performance measures, statistics, the financial update, highway improvements, equipment, vehicles, special projects, shows the committee and staff, and questions and answers at the end if you have them. Our 2025 performance measures. So a 25-year paving cycle would be 20 miles per year, and you can see up there that we're nowhere near that. 12.9 miles of 488 county highway miles were paved. So 2023 was the first year that we were able to get close to sustaining that number of miles in recent history, and that was basically due to the ARPA money. Chip sealing, we did 20.7 miles of 488 miles. A 70-year cycle will be 70 miles a year, so we're short on that also. This last year, we installed 15 new culverts on county highways. Basically, we try and get a year ahead of our construction projects to put our pipes in, so we have time for settlement, so we're not having the dips and dives that you can generally get. Just as a note, we have about 1,700 culverts countywide. These numbers on the screen are as the end of September when this book went to the publisher. So, and there was a change. Last year, it shows that we ended at 75,000, approximately 75,000 tons. With hot mix, we actually ended at 71,000. 75,000 was a projected number, just didn't hit. The 35,550 tons shown on this report as of September 13th was well, that's where we were on the 13th. We did end this year just under 44,000 tons. And we are wrapped up paving for the season. Snow plowing. Our county winter maintenance fund. It's funded with $1.5 million in levy in 2026. It was 1.4 in 2025. Our state winter maintenance is funded by a WISDOT, our RMA, a routine maintenance agreement, and that's $2.58 million in 25. Takeaways, our 2024-25 fall of 24 was relatively mild, but the spring of 25 was costly for us. We lost small events. Our hours of material usage on the state highways are what we expected based on the required levels of service. And the county crews have continued. The hours on the county usage was what to be expected. Our salt usage has been going down. We've been getting better with our brine, dropping our actual rock salt. Those numbers up there kind of show a history of where we're at. We continue, every year we have a couple trainings with the county staff, state and county staff to, reinforce the use of the brine, minimize the rock salt, and levels of service. So there's the numbers on what we used for salt on the roads this last year. Our county, our state, the sand salt used. I won't go into a lot of detail on that. I will tell you, the state salt bid for 2025, 2026, it's $108.95 a ton. That's up from last year, which was $103.76 a ton. So we are getting value with the brine by reducing our rock salt usage. Another performance measure that we have to report to you about is workers' comp claims. So 19 workers' comp claims from August 1st of 2024 to July 31st of 2025. We're doing pretty well. I like to, of course, like to see it lower. We do keep safety up front. It's emphasized. We have monthly toolbox talks. We have a safety day twice a year. So we're continuing to work on it. We work closely with our contractor, keeping safety simple. He helps a lot with providing training materials, bringing in some materials that at least piques their interest and keeps the guys paying attention. That's just some more in the workers' comp. Uh, 2025 analysis of highway funds. This is something that the highway committee gets on a monthly basis. So it's an analysis of the non-lapsing highway funds this is as September 30th, date of printing. One of the challenges of giving this report at this time of the year is it's still active. So it's definitely changed. It's not the same. And on average, the winter maintenance fund, it's likely to decrease $400,000 to $500,000 by the end of the year, just due to the severity. So we're hoping we can make it with where we're at. Sometimes the month of December can be rather costly. Bridge aid. I've got a few questions about this from some of you guys. So Wisconsin statute A208 requires us to work with the towns and provide culvert aid. It's a 50-50 share. So that the towns submit to us their culvert petitions every year. They're supposed to have them in around July 1st. So, and then that's what we use to budget our share to assist them with their culvert replacements, culvert and bridge replacements. Yeah, basically, this is in the budget package. This is going to be in a resolution up next that we're going to ask you guys to approve tonight. Bridge construction. So this last year in the county, we had four bridge projects, 3 bridge replacements on our county structures. The County M Bridge, Big Elk Creek and Wheaton, County M Bridge, Mud Creek and Sampson, and the County G Bridge on the Yellow River up in Colburn. Those are all bridge replacements. Those are all completed. They're all opened up. G was the last one to get opened up as of, I believe it was last Friday that was opened up. So those are all contracted jobs. Very nice work. Contractors did a nice job. We're happy with the product we got. Our crews did do the approach work and the grading on the outsides, all the finished details. So we are able to use our staff on some of that work. The one other outlier, the County Q in Tilden, right just south of County Highway B. That was a big topic. It was a 1-lane stop situation for last year. That's opened. That was a deck and superstructure replacement. That did get a little more involved than what we were initially expecting, but our county bridge inspector, our employee had some issues, some concerns, so that delayed that project a little bit until we could be sure we were getting a product that we were expecting. But that's open and the grain trucks are definitely using it. Our highway construction, this is just a detailed report of the non-lapsing highway construction fund. Again, this is this is in the monthly stuff that the committee sees. And this again was as of September 30th. Our 2026 capital improvement plan. You guys have seen the capital improvement plan already. This is just basically a table format of it, all the projects. 2026 for paving, we're gonna be at 9.4 miles. So we're gonna be on a 51.9 year replacement cycle. And again, 25 would be recommended. The plan for next year is to do 31 miles of chip seal. That'll give us a 16-year maintenance cycle. And I hate to keep beating the drum, but we'd really like a 7-year cycle. Equipment purchases. The reason I'm back to 2023 on this is we in fact just got three of our 2023 purchased patrol trucks earlier this year. Between the COVID and all the other stuff that was happening, the supply chain, it was really long and drug out. But as of now, everything in 2023, all the equipment that was purchased is in service and on the road. On the right-hand side up there, that box up there, that's where we put stuff up for auction. So that was stuff that was sold in order to replace, and it got replaced with the new stuff on the left. Our 3 patrol trucks, they're coming in. I think the newer ones they're closer to 330,000 per truck now. 2024, again, that's on here just because, again, we just recently got 2 out of the 3 patrol trucks in. The third one we're expecting sometime this next week. So we're seeing the lag get better, but we're still waiting on getting our equipment. $2025, that's where we're at now. All of our 2025 equipment's in. So we're sitting good there. We ended up in 2025, we ended up buying 4 quad axles, 1 mini excavator, and 2 mowing tractors were the big ticket items. In 2026, we're looking at purchasing 3 patrol trucks. That's $990,000. 1 portable pressure washer and 1 brush chipper. And then again, we'll be looking at trading off 3 patrol trucks, getting rid of the old pressure washer, and possibly getting rid of the old chipper. We're hoping to have the trucks, we're actually going to take custody of the trucks and chassis here in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to hold them at our shop so they're in storage under roof. Then they go to the bodybuilders in April, and we're hoping to have them back by fall. So it's gotten a lot better. 2024 non-highway fleet, again, that's in there just because we finally just got delivery of all vehicles on highway fleet. $2025, same thing. Those are all in and in service. And 2026 is what we're projecting for. We're looking for 2 utilities for the sheriff, a van for the jail, a pickup for Sheriff's Department Emergency Management, 2 SUVs for the shared fleet, and then we're working on a van for ADRC. On the right are the vehicles that are going away on trade or sale. Our special projects, we like to highlight, try and come up with at least 3 special projects. 2025, County Q, that bridge, that was a different type of project. We haven't done one like that before. It was a tub girder design. I won't go into a lot of detail. It's got some good features. Knowing what we know now, it would be situational dependent if we do one like that again. We did have some unknowns with the contractor and what we were getting. Again, we're happy with what we got now. Another special project, it was a collaborative effort with the with the West Central Regional Planning Commission and the towns to get the 211-mile network for bike trails properly signed. To the best of my knowledge, I believe all those signs are up, and that's all done for the season. Another thing, we were asked to assist emergency management. There was a backlog with 9/11 signs, a lot of stuff happening there. So I was able to free up a couple staff. That worked out very well. I think everybody's happy. My guys were happy to help to do it. And we caught up on a lot of the backlog. Getting to the end here. There's our highway committee. So all know them. Appreciate working with the highway committee. Got a great group there. Department staffing. I'm happy to say, as of today, I don't know if it'll work till tomorrow, but we are fully staffed for the first time in a long time. Our newest hire will be the new deputy highway commissioner, and he'll start on December 8th. So we run 9 full-time managers, 6 full-time hourly operations. That's operators, the mechanics, the stockroom, the janitor, 1 fiscal manager, 1 account assistant, 1 administrative assistant. The 10 LTEs, that's really, be great if we could get them. But typically we're running right 3 or 4, maybe 5 seasonals a year if we're lucky, if we can find them. And then we typically try and pick up an LTE engineering technician to work with our project manager, Fred Anderson, through the winter, through the summer if we can get them. We have not had one for the last couple of years, but we're hoping to have one this next year. There's the org chart. There were 3 vacancies on there at the time of printing. And lastly, we had a nice thank you letter from the town of Birch Creek. Some of you guys may know there was an issue with a floating bog in Cranberry Lake near County Highway M. I was approached many times about doing something about it. Unfortunately, it really wasn't a highway issue due to the fact it wasn't really impacting us. It couldn't get to the bridge because of the power line, but it was causing a problem for the township. The township called and asked if we could help, and we were more than happy to help them out. So everything was done properly. Everything was done with cooperation with the DNR. It was all the boxes were checked. So that went very well. They were very efficient. We worked with the town people, and they went really well. So I was glad to see that letter from Randy Anderson, the chairman. That's all I got. Any questions?
Chris, so I had a couple calls from constituents, and I want to thank you. You were on it immediately, and they were very happy how you did that you responded as quick as you did. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We try and keep you as happy as we can. We're working for you guys.
Two items. First, I'd like to say that you worked with Lake Hallie on that rebuild of 00.
Yep.
And solved 2 big issues. One was a bar issue, which cars were sticking out in the street, was very dangerous, and the other one was some caving into some areas. It was exceptional work, and I think kudos to you.
Well, thank you. That was a contracted job. I'll be honest with you, the county staff didn't do it. Fred Anderson was the manager on that job. Fred kept close tabs on it, and Fred did a nice job. Thank you.
The second item is, do you keep an eye on the federal listing of excess equipment? Because they give them to counties, and the last I heard, they give them free to counties and cities. And I've seen in my past, do you know what a mobile maintenance truck is?
Yeah,
they've,
Very good idea.
two of them going the last 10 years with the complete machine shop, welding, air pressure. It's just
Sure.
impressive. It's worth keeping an eye on.
I can tell you years ago, way back when I first started, we had a few pieces of kind of federal surplus stuff. That can be good, it can be bad. Sometimes you're getting something that's pretty wore out, sometimes you're getting something that's really nice, but I'll bring it up, we'll keep an eye on it.
Do you know how they do their list of when they decide to get rid of it?
No, I don't.
They assign a cost. Every vehicle in the federal government is assigned a cost. And when it reaches that cost, they get it, or age. Sometimes it's little picky things, like they keep blowing tires, and it hits the cost, it's gone.
Sure. Well, I'll get our shop soup on that, and we'll keep an eye out between the two of us. We'll look.
Okay, any more questions? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris, just in thinking about the health and safety of our employees and noticing kind of where things have been for workman's comp claims, and I know that you work with a consultant that helps to provide education and all that. Were there certain, like, highlights that are happening over and over again, whether it's back injuries or whatever? Do you recall is there a commonality, I guess is my question?
I would say some of our common ones are more likely slips.
Okay.
And it could be slips in the winter. Sometimes it's slips in the ditches. Those are probably the most common that I can think of.
Slips in the ditches as in the vehicle goes in that they're
No.
driving in, or their body, their feet
Yeah.
go out from under?
They're walking down, maybe they've taken a chainsaw down, they've got to go brush out underneath the bridge. Walking down the slopes, getting down in the ditches. You know, typically you're in grass that high and you can't see your footing. That was it's been probably 3-4 years ago, we had like 4 or 5 of them like that. It's tough. I mean, I don't really have a good answer for it. But we just asked them to take their time. We've changed some of that. We've gone to some smaller mini chainsaws so that if they don't need a big saw, why drag something big and heavy down there? So that seems to have helped.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Supervisor Bergeron?
Thank you. Just a quick question on the 2026 capital improvement, the County Highway Y bridge coming into Jim Falls. I thought we'd gotten a presentation earlier this year that said that one got bumped to 2027. And Anson Eagle Point just had a lot of conversation about emergency services, and they were both under the impression that it was 2027.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is. You are correct.
Okay. I just saw it on the 26th. And
Yeah.
I go, a lot of people are going to be surprised by that. in Jim.
Yeah, no, you are correct. It is.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, Supervisor Jubridge?
Yes, thank you. If I was following it right, your repair and replacement rate's only about 1/3 of what you need it to be. Is there a long-term estimate of, I mean, it's gonna be, things are becoming more damage or repair or money from the state to get that caught back up, to get your repair and replacement rates of the roads up?
Can I have you ask me that one more time?
If I was following the conversation properly, you said, this road or these highways, we're gonna blacktop, we want it at this rate. However, we're only gonna be doing this much, and all those rates seem to be 1/3 of what you need. That then projects out in the future, a lot of bad roads.
Yep.
What is our long-term plan? Is there state money coming in? Is there other plans, or are we just gonna let roads go? That's a really concerning.
If I could answer that question, I'd tell you, we're,
Go ahead, Andy.
yeah.
How about Andy?
Honestly, neither one of us have a great answer for that. If you're asking if we're gonna be getting more state money, no,
Probably not.
probably not. So, I mean, you've probably heard some of the conversations in the past about, and I know Chris's predecessor, Brian, had been talking to the committee about pursuing a additional 0.5% sales tax at through referendum, to let the state allow us to do that. Currently, we can't do that. The state doesn't allow it, but there's been efforts by the counties association and by this county lobbying our legislators to do that. I think letting our feet get wet here before we start that conversation back up. So I think the Highway Committee has heard this presentation before, and we can start that conversation. But it's things like that. You can lobby the legislature to let us do that. Today, we could do a wheel tax. I don't think that's very popular. You could issue, we could borrow more and increase our debt load, and increase our debt service in order to put more money into the roads. But outside of that, you're pretty limited. It's a money problem. It's a money problem that either we figure out the money, how to generate revenue ourselves, like debt service, or some type of legislative fix at the state level that would allow us to assess like the 0.5%. I mean, 0.5% sales tax addition would be another $9 million a year. And the proposal that's been talked about is sharing some of that with the local governments. They're in the same position we are on being able to keep up with their roads.
So if that 0.5%, would that actually get us caught back up totally, or is that just partial boost up?
It's not going to get us to Chris would like a 25-year replacement.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
not gonna get us
it's
there.
not realistic. I mean, it's not gonna happen, and let's be honest, we don't know exactly what our final cut will be
Right.
by the time we get it. I mean, with where it's gonna get divided up, where it's gonna go to towns,
And I'll just tell you, at the state level, the legislature's been very, very, very reluctant to allow, even through referendum, counties to do that. Just the last couple of weeks, there's new legislation proposed to require any new wheel taxes to go through referendum. And that's the atmosphere in Madison. Answered?
Thank you.
thanks, Dave.
Supervisor Bomer?
Thank you. I'm not quite sure how to phrase the question, but as I understand it, part of our problem is that we have an excessive amount relative to other counties, county roads. We've got more than everybody else does.
Fourth in the state.
More than our quota of county roads. So I'm assuming that's part of the problem. Secondly, how are our neighboring counties doing on their relative maintenance schedule?
Well, I think if you watch the news or you watch Facebook or anything like that, Eau Claire County is definitely not faring any better than us. That seems to be a very hot topic for them. Yeah, we're fourth in the state on road miles. So we have county roads that in other counties would not be county roads. They'd be town roads. But we're not gonna get the towns to take them. They can't afford them.
Yeah, so part of the problem is we can't just hand them over to whatever,
Nope.
because they can't afford them either. So we've got a larger problem that needs to be addressed.
Yep.
And do you have any relative sense besides Eau Claire how the other counties around us are doing?
Not really. I mean, I don't know, nobody's really flush with cash, but some of them are better because their ability to, the levy is, they can go to a higher levy. You know, they can do more than we can. That's really the frustrating one for us is how we're stuck with the levy we have, in my opinion. I don't really have a good answer for you other than that.
Thank you.
Supervisor Romar?
In September, at the annual Counties Association, Wisconsin Counties Association, one of the breakout sessions that I went to, it seems like they're getting some traction on raising the gas tax. And that seems to be the path of least resistance. And they're getting, it sounds like they're getting some of the legislators on board for it. So that could be some hope there.
That's actually, George brings up a good point, and I kind of forgot about that. That is the next big push. They are gonna be looking at pushing gas tax up. I don't remember the numbers exactly, but it hasn't changed since
20 years.
Yeah, quite a ways. Yeah.
20 years since the gas tax has been changed. It used to, some of you guys that have been around a while, you remember they used to make an automatic adjustment cost index. Well, they froze that 20-some years ago, and nobody's paying anything more. Everybody's vehicles are more efficient. They're not using as much fuel, so we're losing revenue there. So they are looking at trying to fix that. The TDA is looking at, that's gonna be the next big push. That's gonna be a heavy push, legislators. I think they've got a meeting next Thursday in Madison on that with the legislators.
Supervisor Hennick?
A number of other states around the country are degrading their roads to gravel. Are we in any danger of that?
I don't believe so. We're prioritizing our roads. Some of the lesser roads that don't see a lot of traffic are gonna keep degrading. And the heavier traveled roads, the roads that are seeing, you get closer to Chippewa, there's more traffic. They're gonna see the improvements. They're gonna see the maintenance levels increased. We're not gonna totally ignore, the backcountry roads, but we did W a couple years ago. Without ARPA money, I don't see how we ever would touch W. I really don't. It's a good thing we did. I've been here 25 years and I've never seen us do anything out there until then.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any more questions? Yes.
Just one comment, talking about county roads, along the Ruby area, we often don't think that there's a lot of traffic, and I know by counts that there isn't a lot of traffic, but what we are seeing are very heavy loads of liquid manure that is continuing to disintegrate those county roads. And there's several large farms, and I'm not meaning to point blame or anything like that, but there is a lot of additional weight that oftentimes, and I don't know exactly your formula that's used to kind of figure out your road conditions, and I know that there's ways that you do that, but we are seeing a lot of wear and tear that probably equates to the number of vehicles that would potentially be seen on a more busier driveway. So just a comment in general.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Any more questions, comments? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to business items. First is Resolution 34-25, resolution to approve county aid in 2026 for bridges and culverts.
Resolution number 34-25, resolution to approve county aid in 2026 for bridges and culverts. Now therefore be it resolved that the Chippewa County Board of Supervisors does hereby authorize county aid match funding for the projects above and does further levy a tax to meet such appropriations on all of the property in the county, which is taxable for such purposes, and be it further resolved that the county board does hereby direct that any balance remaining in any appropriation for specific improvement after the same shall have been completed may be used to make up any deficit that may occur in any other improvement for which provision is herein made, and any balance remaining at the end of the year shall remain in this fund and be available for the same purpose in the ensuing year. Forwarded to the county board by the Highway Committee.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Peter so moves.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. A discussion?
Basically, the bridge and culvert aid, we just kind of went over that, so I don't know if you guys got any more questions on them lines.
Any more questions or comments? If not, in a couple seconds, we will call the vote. There we go. We will call a vote to approve Resolution 34-25. Okay. The resolution is unanimously approved. Thank you. Item 2 is Resolution 35-25. Resolution to approve funds for county aid construction and maintenance during calendar year 2026.
Resolution number 35-25, resolution to approve funds for county aid construction and maintenance during calendar year 2026, read by title only. Super.
Very, very long resolution. So I entertain a motion to approve.
Peter moves.
Okay. Second?
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. A discussion? More questions or discussion on this? Okay, if not, then we will call the vote to approve Resolution 35-25. Doing. All right, there it goes. Okay. Resolution is unanimously approved. Item 3 will be approval of the county administrator 2026 budget. We've had the presentation. So we will look for a motion to approve.
Later, so moves.
Okay, my motion is second to approve. Any further discussion, questions? Okay. If not, then we will call the vote to approve the Administrator 2026 budget. Okay. Budget is unanimously approved. I'd like to thank everyone involved doing this quite the complex task every year. A lot of the back and forth, and thank you very much for all the hard work. Item 10 are appointments, which there are none. 11 administrator appointments, there are none. Agenda items for future consideration, let us know. And we're on to item 13.
Erickson will make a motion to adjourn.
Kelly seconds.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?